हाँ ये ऑफिस क्या है कॉलेज से कॉलेज कॉलेज okay. I think we have done till this, right? This one we have done. So what are the benefits of final? So we have seen we can store our data in different places. Okay, so which is the fastest place from where you can get the data? Register. Then cache memory. Cache memory means final variable will go to cache memory. Then primary memory, primary RAM. Okay, and what is the last one? Hard disk. Hard disk means secondary memory. Okay, and we have seen this in Java. We are having some of the classes which are final string. Okay, and math, those are final by nature. Did we discuss what is the difference between string buffer and string builder? We have discussed, right? So string, what is string? String is immutable. String buffer and string builder are not immutable. Okay, those are mutable. Then we have seen which is fast. String is the fastest, then string builder, then string buffer. String buffer is the slowest. Why? Because of synchronization. So because we are adding some extra complexity because of synchronization. And if you are having some sensitive information, username, password, which one you should use? You should use string. You should not use string builder, string buffer. Okay. So I believe till this one we have done. Okay. Now let's try to discuss about this abstraction. Okay, so let's try to understand one of the. So what are loops concept we have got in I mean normally what are loop concepts are there? Tell me. Class. Okay. Object. Then inheritance, polymorphism. Then encapsulation, abstraction. Okay, so let's discuss a bit about abstraction. Then we'll discuss in depth in the second chapter, but here we'll just introduce what is abstraction all about. Okay, so yeah, what is abstraction? Any idea? What is abstraction? What is abstraction? Any idea? So try to understand. Okay. So suppose I am one of the guy. Okay. So who is having one company. Okay. So I am having one company. Now I provide service to some other company. Okay, whenever they need some data, I am the one who provides some data to them. So I am having my own code, right? I am having my own sort of mechanism by which I develop my things and I provide those data to the other company basically. So who usually takes our data or maybe our code. Okay. So now what happens? Try to understand. Suppose if I will give my code or everything to that company, then what will happen? Next day he will throw me out, right? Because he got everything. He came to know how we are doing all those stuff. So what he'll do? He will suddenly throw me out from the company, right? Okay. So or maybe if he is my client, then what will happen? He will start developing his own. Got it, right? So now in this case, what you should do? You should not expose your internal implementation to that client. If you will expose it, then what will happen? He will develop its own. Are you able to understand what I am talking about, right? So in that case, what I should do is I should provide him the API. He will call those APIs, but he will not be knowing how I am doing. Getting what I am meant to say? Okay, because if he will come to know, he will just remove me at any point of time, right? So what we should do, we should follow this mechanism called abstraction, by which what we can do, we can hide the internal implementations. Okay, so what is abstraction? Abstraction is nothing but hiding the internal implementation from outer world. Okay, so now let's try to talk example of this mobile. I'm having mobile in my hand. Okay, so if I'll call tick 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 tick. I'll call Hiral's number. Hiral number I'm having. Okay, Hiral number I'll call. Okay, so now what will happen? I am able to call that number, but do I know how it is calling? How my mobile is calling? We don't know. Got it, right? So that is abstraction. Abstraction means it's not like you will not be able to use it. You will be able to use it, but how it is happening internally, you don't know. Got it, right? So what is the example of it? Something like we will be able to call a number, but we don't know the internal processing. Because if we'll come to know, then you can start your own company, right? Your mobile company. Okay, so people, they will not expose those, I mean the mechanism how they are doing those stuffs. Okay, yeah, so now in Java there are two ways by which we can do this, we can achieve this particular abstraction. Okay, now again let's go back to this. Okay, so what I am telling is hiding the internal implementation from the outer world is called abstraction. But if I'll tell hiding the data, then this hiding the data is not an abstraction. Hiding the data is called encapsulation. Okay, so hiding the data is encapsulation. And hiding the implementation is called abstraction. So be very careful here, na? Data or the method or what implementation. See, encapsulation we'll see in the next chapter. Let's concentrate on abstraction for time being. Okay. There are two ways to achieve it. Okay, so there are two ways to achieve abstraction. First one is called interface, and second one is called abstract class. So whenever you want to do the abstraction, we can achieve it using two things. One is called interface, another is called abstract class. So we will try to understand both of those in this particular chapter. Okay, so first we'll start with interface. So we have discussed a bit of it in initial classes. Okay, so what is interface? Interface is nothing but blueprint of the class. Okay, so blueprint of the class. So try to understand, if I'll give interface to somebody else, will they be able to understand what is there inside? They will not be able to understand, right? So that's what is interface. Okay, yeah. Now one example which we have seen last class, what was the example? Building planning. Okay, so if I want to do some building planning, I want to do the building planning, then what are things you do? You get security area. Okay, then you get a playground. Okay, then get parking. So basically I am doing the planning. So planning does not mean you are doing the implementation. So planning will have all the things in your some sort of pen and paper. Okay, so similarly here also we can do this. So if I want to implement this building planning, what to do? Let's create one simple interface. So how will you create the interface? Alt Shift N, you will have this interface. Are you able to see here? What interface is the option, and building plan. So what are the things you need? You need get security area, get security area. Okay, then for time being we are taking 3 example only, 3 methods only. We will use some other source. Okay, so we have got those 3 methods. Now tell me, these are implemented or unimplemented? These are unimplemented. Okay, so that's what all the methods inside interface are unimplemented, and all the unimplemented methods are abstract methods. What are abstract methods? Abstract methods are nothing but those are unimplemented methods, and most of the time we will have this semicolon at the end of your method declaration. So if you see here at the end, what is there? We are having semicolon, right? So always we will have semicolon. So all the methods inside interface are unimplemented. Unimplemented, those are abstract methods. Okay, and always will have semicolon at the end of your method declaration. Okay, now if you are having planning, then is it of any use? It is of no use, right? Until unless you will not give it to some contractor or builder. Okay, so who is the builder here? Class is the builder. Okay, so what you have to do? We have to write something like public class implements. Okay, what is the keyword we use? Implements. Okay, implements then building plan. So tell me, is it a real-time scenario? No. Why? Because the problem here is this class, something like builder, suppose builder or maybe contractor. Contractor is implementing building planning. So is it correct one? No. Why? Because contractor is implementing building planning, but he is not doing any implement. So he will have to implement all the 3. Got it, right? So here he will have to write the implementation. Here full implementation should be there. Full implementation should be there for this. Here also we must have the implementation. Got it, right? Interface will not provide you the implementation. Who will provide the implementation? The class which will implement that. Okay. And can you tell me, can I remove this get parking?
No.
No. Why? Because during planning only you are having agreement with the contractor. If parking is not there, you can tell, hey contractor, what you did. In agreement it is there. Parking is there. Please prepare for me. You can tell him basically. Okay. So he cannot leave any of those things out. Okay. So let's create one class. Class contractor. Okay. Implements building plan. Okay. Now see, is it a real time scenario? No. Why? Because contractor should implement. So he must implement all the methods. Okay. He cannot leave anyone. He cannot leave anyone. If you leave it, you can tell him, hey, please prepare. Agreement. In agreement, I have mentioned you have to do it, something like this. Okay. So similarly here also he will have to prepare it. Okay. So now here inside interface all the methods are abstract, right? So that's why what is interface? Interface is nothing but it is also called 100% abstract class, or you can say 100% abstraction, because all the methods are abstract methods. Okay, so now one small question will come into picture. Okay, all the methods inside interface are by default public abstract. All the methods are by default public and abstract. By default, even if you will not mention, it would be by default public and abstract. Okay, public and abstract. So now if I'll go here, MMI, so tell me what is the access modifier for this? Access modifier private. What is the access modifier of name? Default. Okay, now what is the access modifier of this? What is the access modifier of get security area? Tell me. Default, right? So we are telling, because here nothing is there, so it is by default. Okay, but similarly what we are telling, this is default. Okay, but this is not default, this is public. So that's why I mentioned here, right? So what I told, all the methods inside interface are by default public abstract. Got it, right? So this is not default, this is public. Got it, right? So all the methods inside interface will always be public. Okay, yeah. So now let's try to use it. Okay, so see here, if I use any other thing, it will not work. Only what will work? It will work public and abstract only. Okay, so let's try to see here. If I make it private, is it working? Not working. See, there is some problem. Okay, there is some problem this time. Okay, now if I'll make it protected, is it working? Not working. Okay, if I'll make it final, is it working? Not working. So what is the only thing will work? Public abstract. Okay, so we will see here public abstract. So only thing which will work inside interface is called public and abstract. Nothing will work. Okay, so Yeah, now it is working. Okay, similar to this. So you understood, right? So all the method inside interface will be by default public and abstract. Okay, all the variables inside interface are by default public, static, final. All the variables inside interface will be public, static, final by default. Okay, so suppose if I have one variable int test equal to 100. So tell me what is the access modifier for this? Public. What is the non-access modifier? Static. Okay, if I'll try to use any other thing, it will not work. Okay, so what is the only thing will work? Public, static, and final. No other thing will work. Even if I'll not mention, it is by default public, static, final only. Okay, so let us do this. Suppose if I'll make it private, is it working? Not working. If I'll make it protected, is it working? Not working. Even if I'll not mention, it is okay, no problem. It is by default public only. Okay, but again, whenever we are having public, static, final, it is constant letter. It is best practice, you should make it capital letter. Okay, so inside interface all the variable will be public, static, final. Very simple. Okay, so you will get this question very frequently, so let's try to understand this question. Okay, so which one are valid, which are not valid, tell me. Okay, so what we discussed here is all the methods inside interface are public, abstract. Even if I'll not mention, it is public, abstract only. Okay, so what I'm going to say is here, even if I'll not write abstract, it is public, abstract only by default. Okay, so tell me which one will compile inside interface? First one will compile. Yes, it will compile. Okay, why? Because it is public, abstract. Second one, final, it will not compile. Okay, third one, private, it will not compile. Why? Because public, abstract. Okay, fourth one, I am using abstract, public. Yeah, will it compile or not? So this is non-access modifier, this is modifier, access modifier. So can I interchange access modifier with non-access modifier? Can we do this? So what I meant to say is, can we do like this? See, it is not a problem. So what we can do, we can interchange it. I mean, we can write public abstract or abstract public, both are fine, no problem. Okay, so this is okay. Fifth one, abstract int. Tell me, will it compile? No. Why? Because variable must be public, static, final. So but this is not static, it is abstract, so it will not work. Okay, this one, sixth one, no. Why? Private is there. Okay, what is the last one? Will it work? Yes, because even if I will not mention, it is by default public, static, final. Okay, so this is the result. This will compile, this will not compile because final, private, not abstract, public. Okay, abstract, no. Okay, this one will not compile. Why? Because private. Last one will compile because by default it is public, static, final. So you will get this question very frequently. Okay, so you have to check it. I mean, which one will compile, which will not compile in your interface. Okay. Okay, now we have already discussed one thing. What is that? If I am in class, what is the keyword we use? Extends. Okay, if I am in class and interface, what is the keyword you use? Implements. Okay, interface, extends. Okay, and what is the last one? Interface and class. What is the one? It is not possible. It is not possible. Okay, so that's what we have seen. So let's do the recap. What is interface? It is nothing but 100% abstract class is called interface. An agreement is agreement between class and interface that all the methods should be overridden. You cannot leave any of the method. Okay. An interface, this we'll see after some time. Don't worry about the last point. Okay. All interface methods are implicitly public and abstract. Even if you don't mention, it will be by default public and abstract. Okay. All the variables defined in interface must be public, static, final. Interfaces can declare only constant. Why? Because public, static, final is nothing but those are constant only. Okay. So not instance variable. It cannot have instance variable. It will always be your constants. Because whenever you want to make it constant, how will you do? Public, static, final. Okay. Yeah. Last point is interface can only extend another interface. It can never implement another interface. So that's what this is the point which we discussed. This is the one. So interface will extend another interface. Okay. So it will not implement. So what I'm going to say is, suppose I am having one more interface. I'll give the name called interface 1. Okay, interface 1 extends building plan. So interface will extend another interface. We cannot write like this in 3 minutes. It will not work. See, it is not working. Okay. So interface will always extend another interface. Yeah. Now let's go back to the other one is called abstract class. What is the another one? Abstract class. Okay, so try to understand. One way to do the things is, one is planning. Okay, what is another way? There are some buildings which are half built. Okay, half built means you will have some building, right, which is under construction. Okay, so if you are having one class which is not built completely, which is in progress, then what we call, those are called abstract classes. Got it, right? So start to understand. I mean, interface means nothing is started, it is in planning. And what does abstract class mean? It is half done, means planning is over, now you started working on that. Are you able to understand? Okay. So similarly, I mean, what is abstract class? Abstract class is nothing but the class under construction. Okay, the class which is under construction is called abstract classes. Okay, so in real time example, half built building. Half built building is the example of your abstract class. Okay, so abstract class will have few things done, few things not done. Okay, so something like, suppose get security area. Get security area is over, I mean work is done, but parking is not over. Not over means you will have semicolon here. Okay, similarly, what is the third one which you have seen? Get playground, I think, right? So playground, so get playground is over. So are able to see, few things are over, few things are not over. So whenever you will have this sort of scenario in real time implementation, you will go for abstract class. Okay, half built. Okay, so the class which is under construction, or what we can say, you can say half built class is called abstract class. Okay, so let's create one class abstract. So how will you create? New class build building. Okay, how to make your class abstract? Very simple. Go here and make abstract. That's it, like this. So if you will make your class as abstract, then what will happen? Your class can contain implemented things also. It can contain non-implemented also. Okay. So something like here, what all things we have? Something like this is the one which we are discussing. Get security area. Suppose get security area is implemented. Get security area is implemented. See. So for timing, we will make it public. So get security area is implemented. Okay. But what is the one? Parking is not implemented. Okay. So what you can write? You can write here. So how do you write? Public abstract get check. Okay. What you have to pass? You have to pass the written type. Okay. So few things are done, few things are not done. Okay. So what is the last one? Last one was get playground. Okay, now tell me, can I write this method inside interface? Can I write like this inside interface? Let's try to write it. Will it work? It is not working. Why? Because interface can never contain the implementation. It will always be unimplemented. But here what you are doing? You are doing the implementation, right? So which is not possible. It is possible only in case of your abstract class. Abstract class. It can contain both implemented also. It can contain non-implemented also. Okay. Yeah. Now coming back to this. Can people stay inside half-built building? If people will stay, what will happen? There will be a lot of problems. Problems means water is not there. Okay, because building is under construction, right? You don't know. When you go by your bike or car, what will happen? Your bike will be punctured. Why? Because some sort of things will be there. Why? Because it is under construction, right? So maybe some road is there somewhere. Okay, so kitchen is not done, playground is not done, parking is not there, security also not there. You never know what is there. Okay, so people cannot stay inside half-built building. Similarly, we can never create object of abstract class. Why we cannot create? Because it is not done completely. If the things are done, then you create object, no problem. I mean here what is the class we are having? Contractor. So if I want to create the object of contractor, how will I do? I'll go to my main class and I'll write very simple. Contractor equal to new contractor. Simple. This is the way how we create object, right? So why I am able to create the object of it? Because contractor is fully qualified class. But is half-built building fully qualified class? No. So if I will do this here, half-built building equal to new half-built building. See, am I able to create the object? No. Got it, right? So we can never create object of abstract class. Okay, so that is one of the points which you have to note it down here. Okay, so we can't create object of abstract class normally or normally. Okay, we cannot create object of abstract class normally. If you want to create object of abstract class, we go for one of the mechanism called inner anonymous. What is the one? Inner anonymous. Okay, we can create object of abstract class using one of the mechanism called inner anonymous. Inner anonymous. Normally we cannot create. If you want to create, then we have to go for inner anonymous. Okay, so this feature was not there earlier, it came later point of time. Okay, so what is inner anonymous? Inner anonymous is very simple, try to understand. Yeah, you can create object, but what you have to do, you have to see, are you able to see here anonymous inner type? Okay, so you just have to use like this. So what it did is, try to understand, this get parking was not done, he has completed it and he is giving you this object. So it's not like inner anonymous means the thing is half done. It is not half done. Why? Because if you go to half built building, what was half done? Parking was not done, other things was done. So what he has done is, he has done parking and created the object. Got it, right? So we can never create the object of abstract class normally. If you want to create it, you have to do the things which is not done. Complete it. Something like, see, if you want to stay in half built building, okay, you went, there is no water supply. You prepare the supply and stay, no problem. Because water is the only problem, right? So you get the solution and stay over there. So similarly here also, you can create the object, but what you have to do, you have to complete your whatever things are not done. Complete it and stay, no problem at all. Got it, right? So this is the so that's what we have discussed here is okay. Yeah. Okay, so let's try to understand. So that's what is abstract class? Abstract class is nothing but the class which is under construction. Okay, and the abstract class can never be instantiated. Instantiation means creation of object. Instance of class is called object, right? So we can never create the object of abstract class. That means we can never instantiate it. Okay, so what is the use of abstract class? To be extended, because the class which is half done, right? So people cannot stay. Now if you want people to stay, what you have to do? Some contractor you have to give, right? So what is the purpose of abstract class? To be extended. So something like here, if you want to work with abstract class, what to do? You go over there, you create one more contractor 2, okay, extends, sorry, half built building. Now what contractor will have to do? Contractor will have to do the implementation of all the methods which are not done. Okay, so what he is to do? So here he will do get parking. Now tell me, can contractor 2 do the work for security area or maybe playground? It is up to the contractor. If contractor is good, okay, so suppose there is some playground is there which is not well furnished, or maybe there is some stones are there, he can remove those stones. If it is up to the contractor, again, why? Because it is not in agreement, right? So it is up to the contractor. If contractor is very good, he will do. If he is not good, he will not do that. Okay, so that's why. But this parking is mandatory. Why? Because parking was not done in your super class. Okay, now the other one, which what is this? Playground. Okay, so if playground, see, playground he can override. That is up to the contractor, but it is not mandatory. I mean, it is not mandatory. Suppose if you want to do some sort of workaround, so something is not done. Suppose some people are playing cricket, pitch is not done. He will create the pitch. No problem. It is up to the contractor. Again, you cannot tell, hey, create pitch. Now contractor will tell you, hey, it was not there in your agreement, so I will not do that. Okay. Similarly, what is the second one? Get security area. Okay, get security area. It is not mandatory. Okay. Super will discuss while going through. So this and super, there are two keywords which we will discuss when we will do. Next chapter, or maybe this chapter only after some time. Okay. Don't worry about this super for time being. Okay. When we do constructor, that time we will discuss this. Okay. So you can remove it, you cannot remove it, is up to you. But this is mandatory. Parking is mandatory. Why? Because your half-built building does not have parking. Parking is not done. So what I am to say is, parking is mandatory. Parking is mandatory, but other things are not mandatory. Only parking is mandatory. Okay. So this is the one. That's what is mentioned over there. What is the purpose of abstract class? To be extended, so that you can complete that particular class. Okay. An abstract method will have semicolon at the end of your method declaration. Okay, and these 2 points we will see next. Okay, these 2 points we will see. Okay, we will finish sharing it.